Tacoma gets a 30-inch LED light bar. I'm feeling in a lighting kind of mood. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. That's right, today I'm going to be installing the 30-inch LED light bar on my Toyota Tacoma. I've been doing some other stuff, so while I've got the grill off, I figured why not, let's go ahead, get that thing hooked up. Now, if you hadn't seen it before, it is this one right here. I like this thing, I think it's pretty cool. I had considered going with amber, but honestly, I couldn't find any amber, none that were in stock without a long lead time. So I decided to go ahead and put what I had before back on. Now, I've got the brackets already mounted. They just bolt onto the side, pretty simple. And then there's two holes on each one that go into the crash bar, if you will, on the front of the truck. Let me show you. Right here, this silver piece, there are two bolts over here, one up above and one below. Those have to be removed on both sides. I'm not going to remove the whole thing. I wouldn't want to do that. That'd be a nightmare. And go ahead and put those brackets on and finagle it down here in the opening. I will say it is rather difficult to get down in the opening. I've done this before, and I'm hoping I've got a little more experience with it. Maybe I can get it a little bit easier, because once you get it down in there, trying to adjust the bolts on the side is almost impossible, and you have to do that so that you can tilt the light the right way. Otherwise it's pointing up, down, sideways, who knows. So there's not a lot of room to work with those bolts on the side once you get them mounted, because it's actually tucked up under here. So we're going to see if I can get that on a little bit better. I don't know. Not very simple to film, so I'm going to go ahead and get it mounted down in here. Again, it's just mounting the brackets with the light on. I found it's easier to do that way. And then tightening the bolts up. By the way, I do want to mention, these bolts, when I did this on my other two trucks, were very difficult to get off. I had scraped up arms from this nice piece right here, but they were much easier on this truck. So I don't know why, but much easier to get those loosened up this time. So let me go ahead, get it situated down there, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. Okay, we've got it on. You guys can see it there. Not quite sure if it's aimed high or low. Have to figure that out later, I suppose. It is a bear to get this thing tightened. The bolts that hold it to the bracket are back under here. Oh, and by the way, full disclosure, I did drop a bolt. Had to pound on the bottom of the front bumper here to get it to bounce out, so I got lucky. Anyway, that's what it looks like in there. Do have to connect up the wireless controller yet to be able to plug it in to control it. If you're not familiar with it, it sits right back here. I have mounted it to the sidewall via a bracket that I had bought when I got the Trigger 4 wireless controller before. So it's mounted into two holes. They were two threaded holes there already. So all I had to do was screw in the bracket and mount the wireless controller on top of it. Now, as far as connecting it up, there are three wires that you have to contend with. Of course, red for power, black for ground, and then yellow. Now, you have two ways to connect this. With yellow, you can connect it to the red and have constant power to the unit so that you can turn your lights off and on whenever you want to. I did that once before, actually on my two previous trucks, and I ran the battery down because there is a draw. They say, being the Trigger 4 people, the wireless controller people, that it can last for a couple of weeks as long as you start the truck within that period before it runs down. I didn't find that to be true. Mine ran down after about 3 to 5 days, something like that. So I am going to be running it differently. The yellow wire can also be connected to a fuse, in this case the INJ fuse right here, right behind this 120 fuse or 120 fuse you see, right there. It is the INJ fuse. So I'm going to do that via an add-a fuse. which I have connected already. You can see there's an existing 10 amp fuse in it. I'll add the other 10 amp fuse in a minute once I pull it so that I can stick this down in the slot. That should control the controller, if you will, so that it is only on or powered when the truck is running. That way I will not have any draw from the wireless controller that can drain my battery. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get that connected up, and then we're going to test it. I did install a couple of lighting accessories. One of them is over here. Of course, it's the grill lighting on my grill. Really dig these, can't wait to see them actually lit up. And the other is the LED light bar, which you can see right down there. So let's go ahead, get this thing wired up, pretty easy to do, and then we'll test it, see if it works. All right, we've got it all done. Everything is wired up, the grill is back on. Here's where I ran the wires. Of course, power, everything else is underneath. I did notch the top of the lid to be able to put the yellow wire, the INJ wire, I'll call it, inside the fuse box. The connections for the accessories are right up there in front of the firewall. And of course, the wireless controller right there. And then everything else, the millions of miles of wire tied up right down here in front of the battery. Pretty good install. I'm digging it. It works well. I'm going to demonstrate it for you guys right now. Here is the controller, and I have it labeled, and I even got the labels right. Light bar, front lights, fridge. Well, I don't have a fridge. And this other one, these two here I'm not using actually. I can change the names if I want. But let's take a look first at the front lights. That's what I'm calling the grill lights. There you go, and you see the controller lights up. I don't know if you can tell it, but they're lit up. That's pretty cool. And now the light bar. That's the light bar. You guys can see what that looks like. Turn everything off. Now we'll fire everything up. So we have the grill lights and the light bar. That's the look I have. That's what I was going for. Pretty cool. I can dig it. The light bar kind of disappears when you turn it off. And of course the grill lights, you'll always be able to see the amber. But I do have room for two more. This is the trigger 4. There is a trigger 6, I believe, where you can have 6 accessories. The thing I like about this is I can have it inside the cab or outside the cab to use like we just did if I want to. So I can control everything by this. I did not have to run through the firewall with wires or put switches in or any of that stuff. That's such a drag to do. This is so much simpler. Anyway, leave a comment, let me know what you think. There will be a couple of links down below if you're interested in checking out pricing and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, leave a comment, let me know what you think. I'd be curious, is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Not the video, that should always be a thumbs up. But what about the mods themselves? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, if you're interested, I do have an additional channel. It is RobMotive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Check it out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Don't forget to click the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.